everyone, and welcome to another episode of Soul Talk. We got our fan favorite here again, Dakota. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. I'm ready to talk to you. I always love talking to you, so let's get right into our topics. I think we're starting with anime today, so there's no books. I know, shocker, no books today. All right, what anime have you been watching, Dakota?
So, I have been watching one that everyone has been telling me about, My Hero Academia. And so, the basis of the story is you see the picture, the kid with the green hair, he's the main character. With not giving out too much, he ends up having a superpower that they call quirks. And 80% of the population in this show has a quirk. And some of them are really weird, and some of them are as simple as you are super strong. Um, and it goes through, there's special academies, and he goes to one of the best academies that creates some of the brightest heroes in Japan. And it kind of goes through his journey on going from a nobody in his middle school to one of the biggest, brightest heroes in Japan. And there are some parts that are really funny, and like with anything, there's some sad parts that, not gonna lie, I cried a lot when it happened, but it's been really good so far.
I hear about this anime so much from everyone in the anime community. They're like, you need to watch this, you need to watch this, you need to watch it. I believe it's on Hulu. And
It is.
that's why I hadn't watched it because I didn't have access to Hulu. Now I do, so I need to get on the ball and watch the show because everyone has talked about it. But I've currently been watching Hunter x Hunter and Clone Wars rewatching, and then the anime that I'm gonna speak when we get to my turn. So been doing all of these watching, and it's just like there's not enough time in the day to watch all of these shows that I want to watch. But I hear nothing but good things about it.
It is great, and I honestly did not think I was gonna like it at first. But my boyfriend, he was like, "Yeah, get through the first couple episodes. It starts off really slow, and it does pick up quite a bit." I think so far I'm on season 4. So far my favorite season has been season 2. Um, just a lot of action filled drama in that season.
So my biggest question, and I know you're not an anime fan, or you weren't when we were in college, but you're becoming one because of your boyfriend now, which
Yes.
thank you, Falcon, thank you. But is there a tournament arc? And what season is the tournament arc?
There is a tournament arc. Um, I want to say that's the second season. They all just ran together because I watched so many different episodes. I want to say that is the second season. It's somewhere in there, and it is. Again, some parts of it hilarious. Some parts you're like, "Dang, I never would have thought of that." That's smart, and it's really intense at points.
Yeah.
And in the tournament, I will say the person you think that's gonna win isn't gonna win.
Oh, that's it. I
It's
love when that happens. Because a lot of times in shonen anime, and you'll see this in your adventure into anime, Dakota, is that tournament arcs are just a thing of like all shonen anime. And it's typically the person who wins is the one you think is going to win.
oh, not in this one. Um, at least I didn't expect this character to win, but and yeah, it's good. I
I'm
think that was the second season though.
I'm looking forward to when I eventually get to it. I promise anime fans out there, I will get to it, and then I'll let you guys know my thoughts about it here on Soul Talk. But I guess we'll go into my anime that I've recently watched, and that's 91 Days. And this anime is probably one of like the least anime-ish animes that you can watch out there. It doesn't really have any of the like anime tropes in it. It's very much so this when the main character that you see like on the left of that picture, when he's a little like not little kid, but when he's like preteen, the mob kills his father, his mother, and his little brother. Him and his little brother were hiding in the closet, and then like the little brother runs out after the dad is killed, kind of like to like protect the mom, and then basically so his whole family passes away in the first episode from the gets murdered by the mob. And so then you pick up to him as an adult, and he's changed his name, and he's kind of trying to make it in with that same mob to enact his revenge. So he's trying to get into the family of that mob to then go after everyone who murdered his family. So it's the very much this revenge story. It's very much you get a there's a lot of like Godfather and Goodfellas vibes in it. A lot of mafia movies that have Robert De Niro in it vibes of this anime. It is set, I believe, in the 20s because it's in Prohibition. So, like, his best friend, who literally, like, his family dies on his birthday too. So this all happens in the
Oh
first,
man.
and his best friend was like at the house and like leaves the house. And then the mob shows up, so, like, he just misses them, and so he runs to his friend's house, like, after everything, and his friend was like, "You and I are now brothers," and so the kind of going forward, and then you see them, like, as an adult, and the, best friend is, like, making alcohol, like, in his kitchen because it's prohibition time, and even through history that even though there was prohibition, people were still drinking very heavily during prohibition. It was just all in speakeasies and in secret and in their own houses. So, but it's a very interesting anime. This is the second time watching it. The first time I watched it, I made it to like I had watched the almost watched the whole season. I think I didn't miss the last episode or the last two episodes. And then the site that I was paying for, like it ran out of time and I didn't get to finish the story. So I was just like, I don't know how it ends. So luckily now it's on HBO Max, so I can watch the full. I think it's like 12 episodes. I'd have to double check. It's a short series, so you can definitely get through it fairly quickly, and it's really good. I think if you're not an anime fan, you'll enjoy it, and if you are an anime fan, you would enjoy it. So I'm into those like mafia movies and shows. So I was like, oh yeah, give me an anime that does that stuff. I'll take it.
It sounds more like an action movie than like an anime or a storyline off of like Grand Theft Auto to me.
Right. Hey, they make animes literally out of anything, so I'm definitely here for it. Another one that's like might have some like anime tropes. I haven't watched it in a really long time, but kind of goes into like the more ethereal kind of sense is this show called Death Parade. And it's basically like people going through judgment after they pass away. So it's kind of like you're in this bar and that's the judgment place and then like you have to play a game to decide whether you're going to heaven or hell.
That is an interesting take on that.
Yeah. So like you die and then you end up in this bar. And they're like, "Let's play a game."
Oh, so it's like Jigsaw, just in heaven.
Right, I guess so, yeah. Or the in between.
Oh yeah. Eh,
But we're here and Soul Talk. We're anime fans. We're gonna keep watching anime, talking about anime going forward. Dakota's gonna become a bigger anime fan, and I'm totally here for it.
Um, my boyfriend already has a list of them that he is getting me to watch. He said he was going to start me off easy with My Hero and move me forward. I'm like, oh Lord.
So I want to know where Hunter x Hunter is on the list because that show's pretty good, and it's on Netflix.
I will ask him.
Okay.
Let me
And
write
then
that
Full
down
Metal
so I don't forget.
yeah, Hunter x Hunter is the way you pronounce it Hunter x Hunter, but it's written Hunter x Hunter. And then the other one is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That one is my favorite anime, hands down. I think that one is also, I think it's on Hulu and Netflix, and I think even HBO Max as well. Like that one is fairly, you could reach it in different streaming services.
Okay. I will ask him and see where they are on the list.
Well, let's get right into recent movies. I haven't actually watched any movies this week. So Dakota, what movies have you watched?
So this seems to be a reoccurring theme with me this week, but uh, the new things I've been introduced, my boyfriend introduced me to, and this new movie that I just saw last Saturday was called Devil's Carnival. And so it was an interesting movie. It wasn't quite what I expected, but essentially the Carnival, they considered a musical horror film. And
Hmm.
it kind of goes through three people who end up dying and going to hell. And they each represent one of Aesop's fables. So one of them is the dog and its reflection, talking about greed. The other one is the scorpion and the frog. Um, and then the last one is grief and his due. And it just kind of shows these fables that we've heard, in which most of the Aesop fables that we know are a little morbid, and if you really dig into them, and it just flips them on their head. And uh, it's very, it's a carnival. It's in hell, and um, there is a second one. I didn't get to watch it, but apparently the second one is the prequel on how the carnival started, and it was just interesting. Not what I expected, but an interesting way to talk about those fables.
That sounds very interesting. And you know me, I'm not a horror movie fan. And a lot of times in college, you'd be like, oh, let's watch this thing. And I was like, you go watch that in your room. I'm going to go watch something else in mine. I'm going to go watch some anime or something. But this has piqued my interest. It's intrigued me. I think too because it's a musical as well, and you and me as band kids, we're always gonna gravitate towards musical
Yeah.
things.
Well, the music is even different too. It really is. Um, they, with each character and each fable, they kind of go through their own little mini story. And when you figure out what happens, then it shows I don't know what you call it, the main ring of the circus. And one of the performers are singing their own kind of style about the fable. Um, like I'll just talk about the scorpion and the frog real quick. With that fable, it talks about how um, the frog wants to be friends with the scorpion, and it's like, get on my back and we'll go swimming. And the scorpion gets on his back, stings the frog multiple times while it's swimming, and the frog ends up drowning, and the scorpion drowns, and all of that. And um, in this one, it there is no real scorpion or real frog, but they're people, and it talks about trusting people you shouldn't, and how they can pretty much stab you in the back, or in that person's case, the heart. Um, and it puts the carnival spin on it. I'm not going to give too much away, but
And that's very interesting. And it sounds like you know, you know me and I love some bad movies. We both do.
yes, oh yeah,
So this sounds like the type of bad movie that I'd probably be interested in. And I hate that I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but me and Laramie, which Laramie's a friend that we had in college, a fellow band kid, watched this like Canadian film that had like Jesus and vampires in it.
gosh.
And we watched it over Zoom together. And apparently someone has rung the doorbell and my dog is barking. So I apologize for that, everyone. But but we watched that movie and I was like, this is so bad and so hilarious. And I'm just like here for it. And me and Laramie had a great time with that. Another like bad movie that is great fun to watch is Kung Fury. Have
Oh
you seen Kung
gosh, that
Fury?
one is hilarious.
It's so
Oh
funny.
my
And it's
lord.
only 30 minutes. It used to be on Netflix. I think it's for free on YouTube right now. Like, definitely go check that out, people. Kung Fury is hilarious. If you want to see Jorma Taccone as Hitler from the Lonely Island, Jorma Taccone from the Lonely
Oh
Island,
gosh.
it's hilarious.
But I will say though, the Devil's Carnival, it's kind of in the same genre. If anyone has ever seen the Repo, a genetic opera, if anyone's ever seen
Oh,
that,
okay.
it's kind of in that same
I haven't seen it, but I
genre.
know of that. I
Yeah.
know of that one.
Um,
Okay.
this one was done, of course, after that happened, but it's it was interesting. I was not expecting when he pulled it up. It's like we're gonna watch this. I was a little skeptical at first, but I gotta trust him. Sometimes he has good taste.
At least I know that he has good anime taste so far.
That is true. That is true.
Oh, since I haven't had a movie, if we want to go into anything extra, I know that you're still playing the game that you were talked about last time.
Yes, Dead by Daylight. I'm still playing it. I've recruited a couple other friends to play it. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we found out it was cross-platform. So I have a couple friends on Switch who are playing it with us. I'm on PlayStation, and actually, I convinced my boyfriend to buy it on his Xbox, and he's played it a little bit with me. Um, they just literally announced today their new killer, which is this K-pop guy who throws something. I don't know what it is he's throwing. Kind of like a juggler type thing. It's interesting. I'm kind of excited to see when he comes out. Um, I've been doing some more research in it because I'm a nerd. And one of the people I play with, who's our guard instructor at my school, she talked about one of the killers named the Huntress. And I don't know if I talked about her the last game. Her backstory is really sad. Essentially, her mom died in her arms while she was singing her favorite lullaby, and she grew up alone, and just this really sad story. And in the game, she's singing this hauntingly beautiful lullaby. Well, it was brought to my attention that this lullaby was an actual lullaby, a Russian
Oh,
lullaby.
wow.
So
Okay.
Bayou Bayou Ski. And if you listen to it, it's a hauntingly beautiful lullaby, but it's very creepy. Um, and it's a warning to all kids saying, don't get out of bed or don't get close to the edge of the bed, or the wolves will come and bite your side and pretty much eat you up.
Wow.
One of those warning type songs that every culture has at least one of them. But ever since then, I've just been drawn to that lullaby because it's so hauntingly beautiful but scary at the same time.
You love your scary stuff.
Oh, I love it. I cannot get enough of this scary stuff.
What was that show that you watched? Was it like the A to Z of horror or something like that?
Oh, ABCs of Death, I think it is what it was called.
Yeah. It literally went through like l- each letter, they made a word that started with that letter, and it was just like everyone ended up dying at the end of each like episode pretty
Um,
much. And it was always very gruesome and horrific. And I'm like, why are you watching this?
some of them were gruesome and horrific. Some of them were very unique. Like I remember very vividly F, and F stood for fart.
I did not see I didn't watch these. I like walked in passing as Dakota was watching and I'm like, "Oh, he's watching his horror stuff again."
So some of them were creative ways to die, but it was that was good. I haven't seen that in forever. Oh
Well, there you
man,
go. If you want to have a rewatch, I just reminded you of something good.
yes, that would be perfect.
And then I know that there's another very special and important thing that you've recently done. If you want to tell the people watching at home.
So if you guys did not know, a couple weeks ago we had a big snow and ice storm that pretty much shut down a lot of places in Kentucky and Tennessee. And during that time, I kind of sat and I thought about a lot of things. And I finally thought to myself, I need to take a page out of my playbook, something I tell my students all the time. If you want to fix something, you've got to take charge. And if you fail, you fail. You just need to go for it. So I filed with the FEC and I've decided I'm going to run in 2022 for Kentucky District 2's U.S. House of Representatives. Um, the current incumbent, Republican incumbent, is Brett Guthrie. He's been in there since 2008, and I registered as a Democrat. Um, and it will be interesting. Uh, last two elections, the opponent to Brett Guthrie was named Hank Linderman. And in 2018, Hank Linderman had a 4 or 5 person primary, came out on top, and then was nowhere near Brett Guthrie. And then in 2020, Hank Linderman did not have a primary challenger and was even farther behind Brett Guthrie. Um, so I'm hoping with me starting now, I'll be able to catch up because since even 2008, we were freshmen in high school.
Mhm.
I had no clue who Brett.
Obama just started as
Yes,
his presidency.
I had no clue who our representative was. I had no clue who Brett Guthrie was, and up until last year, when I actively reached out, I had no clue who he was. He's never out in the community. He's never been a voice for the people in the community, and his voting record is appalling. If you go back and look at the things he voted for, I actually just went back. One of their most recent votes, I think, was the first that's on their website, House Resolution 179, which expanded voting access, gave money to small businesses for COVID relief, and provided money for infrastructure. He voted against that. And so things like that, and everyone writes off places like Kentucky as Republican strongholds, but I don't believe it. I think there are people here who
It
just
happened in
have,
Georgia.
yeah, like the people here just haven't been reached. Uh, Democrats or independents or whomever is running haven't taken the time to talk to them and figure out what they want to get done. And so I'm hoping that I can be that person to bridge that gap.
I lived in Bowling Green for 5.5 years, and I never knew who Brett Guthrie was.
No,
So,
the only time I knew Guthrie was Guthrie Tower. That's it. That's
right?
the.
Is he related?
I have no earthly idea.
Hmm.
No earthly idea. And even during this whole pandemic, he has flown under the radar. No leadership whatsoever. He never posts anything talking to the community. The only time he does is to say, "Thank you for electing me," and that's it. Like you never hear from him. And I don't think that's what a representative should be. They
Yeah.
should be constant communication with the communities they're in, even if it's a YouTube video or a recorded video talking about what has gone on in the legislative um, session that day or that week. Um, and when they come home, they should go out in the community and talk to the people. And I don't see that with him.
Mm. And the community knows you already just from being a WKU grad and being a teacher and you being out in the community. So I think you have a leg up in that part. I'm here for you, whatever you need. I'm so excited for you, win or lose. I think this is amazing that you're going forward and doing this.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I tell my kids if you want to do something, go for it. And I've got to stand up to the things I preach.
Exactly. And so we're going to provide the link in the show notes down below, but where could they go to donate to help you in your endeavors?
So as of right now, the best place to donate would be Act Blue. I have a an account. Just look up William Compton. Um, I ask anyone if they can give, even if it's $1 or $2. That would greatly help. The more, the merrier. But if all you can give is $1, that still is $1 more than we had to help with this campaign. Uh, right now, our goal is kind of $500 because this campaign is only a week old. Um, so our goal right now is $500. We're at 255 so far, which was a little eye opening. I did not expect that much that
How
quickly.
much was from your sister, Lindsay?
None.
None. Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll circle back around to that topic in a second.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but
I didn't mean to go into a.
it's a completely different. But any amount is helpful. Even if it's 50 cents, anything. Um, just and spread the word too. And if you're not in Kentucky, that is fine. If you look back at campaigns from previous years, whether it's the one that I'm running in, you'll see contributions from all over the place, not just in Kentucky. Um, so spread the word, let people know that someone is fighting for the voices of the working class Americans, even in the GOP dominated Kentucky. There
There you
still
go.
is some fight.
There you go. And
And
that's so true because I've donated a lot. If you look at my Act Blue's like, you've donated this much. And I was like, stop telling me how much money I've given away. But it's been to candidates all across the United States.
yes, same. I've done the same thing. Um, so it's just a good way to help try and get people's voices heard. And actually, coming back to you were mentioning my sister. Um, she works at the post office, and I did not realize this. Anyone who works at a post office is technically not supposed to promote, donate, or talk about any um, politician or political campaign because of something called the Hatch Act.
Mm. So the Hatch Act also relates to post office. I knew I knew of the Hatch Act only because of how many times Trump and his family broke it for the in the White House, but I didn't know that also applied to post office people. Huh.
Yep,
Very interesting.
which I don't think is right, but
It is what it is.
yeah.
Hey, that's why you're gonna become a lawmaker, right?
Oh, exactly.
Now, into less serious topics, but still very exciting news. My Anything Extra is actually a bit of entertainment news, and we've got breaking news this past week of Avatar Studios. So anyone who is a Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, Legend of Korra fan of the comics, the original creators few years ago were going to make a live action show on Netflix due to creative differences. They ended up no longer working on that project. That project is still going to happen on Netflix. We've learned too they're aging up one of the characters, Katara, which a lot of fans have been pretty upset about. Me included, I was like, that changes the story because Sokka's supposed to be the older brother of everyone. It's going to completely change the dynamic. And if you keep Aang at 12 and you age her up to 16, that really becomes weird because those two end up together. So in the show she's 14, he's 12. And they're gonna age her up to 16. I really hope they reverse that decision like they reversed their decision with the Sonic movie when they made Sonic look really weird and then they finally made him look regular after the fan uproar. So hopefully. But yeah, the creators are gonna make this. They're gonna do other animated shows. They're gonna do animated movies. I hope to see. We have a book series about Avatar Kyoshi. Hopefully, we'll see that. I would love to see the comics come to life in movie form. Like, there's just so many possibilities, and because it's a Avatar cycle regenerates each time one of them dies. You have all these new stories and possibilities, and you can go back to previous avatars and go forward to new avatars. And I'm just super excited for the show and movies and what the studio brings, and the fact that Mike and Brian are really heavily a part of this. I'm here for it. I'm so excited.
So much potential in this.
Yes. And I'm sure your boyfriend has seen After the Last Airbender. That needs
He
to
has.
also be pushed up at the top of the list to watch.
He has. I will let him know.
Yes, it's on Netflix now. Go
Okay.
if you haven't seen it, people go watch it. Well, that's gonna conclude this episode of Soul Talk. Thank you so much, Dakota, for coming on again the third time. Not only are you the only person who's come on twice, but now you're the only person who's come on 3 times. Look at that, people.
Third
But
time's the charm.
exactly. So, where can the people find you other than the Act Blue?
So if you want to follow me, I have a Twitter account that you should see at the bottom of the screen at Compton for Kentucky 2022. Um, as of right now, I don't have a campaign website that's currently being created at the moment. So Twitter is the best place. Just follow me. You can see where I stand on a lot of positions. You can see what's going on because I've been watching what's been going on in the House and the Senate recently, so you can kind of see my take on everything and follow along to see how the campaign is doing as well.
There you go. And you can follow me at SoulGovan on Twitter, at soul.k.govan on Instagram. Here every Wednesday for Soul Talk. And then also go check me out on Saturdays. I'm on John Roko's YouTube channel for the Ultimate Schmodown After Show. We have some great Schmodown people coming on as guests, so definitely go check that out. And goodbye, everyone.
Bye.